Another day. Another day.
Another
day.
Another baby.
Baby. That was sick. We nailed that.
It has been a while since we've done this. I feel like I actually don't know what I'm doing.
We have a new child, if you weren't aware, which is why I'm eating on camera, because we have limited time to film right now, so sorry.
Yes, we had a baby 1 month ago, so we thought that we would just sit down and tell the whole story. I actually really need to journal it before I forget all the details.
Good thing we have this video.
It was a roller coaster of emotions, but we had our baby boy, and he's currently sleeping on Yaya.
My mom.
So we are going to quickly tell this story.
His name is Cuba Conti.
Cuba Malachi Conti.
Cuba is where my whole dad's side of the family is from. So we went with that name to, just honor the family tree, honor my dad. His nickname is QB, so he's got to be a good football player.
Makara and I call him like QB-Doo.
Well, okay. Who made that up?
I think I did.
I'm the one who started singing QB Dooby Doo.
Okay, no you didn't. You're sleep deprived. That was
Oh
totally me.
I'm sleep deprived. Oh.
Okay, we don't need to
Oh my gosh.
Malachi has been probably my favorite boy name ever since I was a little girl. I knew a couple Malachis and I was like, that is the coolest name. I'm gonna have a baby boy one day called Malachi.
Cuba Malachi Conti.
To make a long story, hopefully somewhat short and concise, towards the end of my pregnancy, I think I was 32 weeks. I go into my appointment and he is transverse, so he's side to side. He's not head down or head up, just side to side. And they're like, okay, you have a few weeks to try to get him head down. I have a video on my channel that kind of like followed me trying to get him head down over the amount of weeks that I had, but he just basically went head down, back transverse, head down, breech. Like he was just like flipping all over the place.
All over the course of like the last 8 weeks, essentially. Mm-hmm. They scheduled Jess for an ECV and they were like, all right, we need to flip this baby over. If you don't know what an ECV is, it happened with Micaiah. If you're familiar with that story, they have to like manually flip the baby from the outside of the stomach, and two grown men push on my pregnant wife's stomach, which is sick.
And it's a really like crazy procedure now that we've watched two happen.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
We had our bags packed and everything just in case. Basically, if you are getting an ECV and the baby is under distress, they sometimes will send you to have an emergency C-section. So you kind of have to bring your bags just in case you don't really know what will happen. So we're at the hospital, bags packed. It's bright and early on a Sunday morning. Remember?
Oh,
it was like 5 a.m. or something.
We got up at, was it like 3:30 or something?
So it was some really early hour.
Ungodly hour of the morning.
We were so happy he was head down. So then they sent me home again. So that's the second time, because he was head down, and I was just like, okay, you can prep for labor.
It was funny. We were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I know, it was just so exciting. We were getting ready for labor.
I can't believe we don't have to do an ECV this time around.
I know. A little bit of time passed. I can't exactly remember. We go and have another appointment to like check his position. He's still head down. He's actually engaged in my pelvis. And I was 2 to 3 centimeters dilated. So we were like, amazing, stuff is happening. And then a few more days go by, and I don't know, it was just like something in my spirit, I guess, like just didn't feel right.
The Holy Spirit?
And I can't really tell by touching. I'm like, oh, I guess that could be the head, that could be the butt. I just like can't really tell. Mm-hmm. So I end up calling my midwives and I'm like, do you have time if I come in just for like a couple minutes so you can check the position? This was 2 days before my due date, and they have like a little ultrasound thing and they're checking and they're very silent. And that's when we know, because we've had this conversation with midwives a lot before. When they're silent, then they're like,
Yeah, they just check and they like keep looking and they're not saying anything. And then they like check a different position and you're just like, oh.
Anyway, he was back breech. So for some reason, he just kept moving around. Thank goodness we went in and checked, because if I had gone into labor with him like that,
you probably would have had to do a C-section.
A C-section. Yeah. An emergency C-section. So basically they scheduled me for an ECV ASAP. So we went to hospital that night. After the ECV, they wanted me to get induced straight away, just so he didn't have any more time to go back breached. So
But well, let's talk about at the hospital. We went in at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., something like that. We were gonna have an ECV right away. Then they were gonna induce her, and then like overnight would be like pre-labor and everything like that. But they were so backed up in the ECV / C-section unit
no,
or
just
whatever.
labor and delivery in general.
Oh, that
there
was
was
it.
so many babies born that night that we were just like
That was it.
resting.
Every pregnant woman in the 9 month of pregnancy in Nashville decided to have their baby on the
That
night
night.
of
Of my
August 21st to 22nd.
We were in hospital overnight, nothing happened, and then my ECV was, I think, 5 or 6 a.m. the next morning.
So we got no sleep that night.
But that's all right. It's been a month of no sleep. For the ECV, they gave me an epidural, and that was what I was most nervous of. I was nervous of the pain, like the pain of the epidural going in. My mum was like, kind of like hyping me up for it because she's had 3, so she was like, you'll be fine. For anyone else getting an epidural that is nervous, the lead up for me was so much worse than, I mean, it is scary, and I flinched a little bit. It just felt like a bad bee sting or something. But then, like, everything was numb. They did the ECV, and I could still feel some pain, but nothing like with Micaiah. When I had an ECV with Micaiah, I had no pain relief.
Why on earth did they not give you an epidural? They didn't even tell you that in Australia. Jess did the first with Micaiah. ECV without epidural, and then birth without epidural.
So, successful ECV.
Then we go into pre-labor.
Okay, so
She goes into pre-labor. I'm just there. And
yeah, they start inducing me.
we were napping
We napped
because she
I
had an epidural. That was insane.
It was insane.
So we actually did get some sleep.
Yeah, we did. It was just the most chill labor I could have ever imagined.
I was like texting people back. The first time around, it was like
It was
guns blazing, Jess breaking my hand, squeezing it hard, me having to like whip out every,
positive affirmation.
positive affirmation and Bible verse in the book. Where this time around, I'm like, all right, you're cool. I'm going to freaking take a nap.
It was so different. And throughout my whole pregnancy, I had prayed for just like a redemptive experience because my first experience was really hard. And then I just really felt it the day that I gave birth. It was like a very, very redemptive experience for me.
You pushed through 2 contractions.
Yes, so even like as I was feeling the contractions, I only felt them a little bit, and then it was time to push, and I pushed him out in 2 contractions, and Gabe watched.
I watched. I was holding her hand, and they had me hold her leg right there. So it was like
Right there.
full view. And I had this traumatic experience when I was like 6 where my parents decided it was a good idea for me to watch my mom birth my sister. So that's in my head. I'm like, I'm never watching labor ever again. And I guess, I don't know, with my own child and everything, it just like, you're in the moment. On the first push, I'm like looking at Jess and I'm like, I don't need to watch. And then I see something coming out in like my peripheral vision. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's coming at.
So sorry.
And just had freaking
Sorry.
pooped herself.
It's normal. It's so crazy I could not feel a thing. I couldn't feel a thing.
Yeah, they just like wiped it real quick, took it away, and I was like, I thought that was my child's hair coming out. I was like, his hair's brown.
He did actually come out really quickly.
Yeah, after, so the first push was the poop, and then her second push was the child.
Was it?
The 2 contractions, I mean, not like the 2 pushes. So you like pushed a few times in the first contraction, that's when he pooped. And then like he started to like really crown, I think, whatever it's calling, where his head's like popping out. And then the second one, you pushed a few times and on the next
Is that
contraction.
real?
Yes.
I don't remember.
It was so fast. And Jess didn't even, like with Micaiah, she was like, like going and like doing the breathing. I'm like, okay, in, out, like kind of trying to coach her through it.
Exercises.
And then this one, she's literally sitting there like this,
Sure, babe.
Yeah, so she's sitting there like this. She like leans forward a little bit to push. And they're like, push. And then she just goes. And I'm like, are you even like trying?
The thing is, I couldn't feel it, so I have no idea. The epidural was crazy. He came out healthy and safe, and yeah, it was just such a good experience. That's it. Yeah.
Now we're here.
Now we're here 1
1 month
later.
in. With 2 kids, it feels like, whoa. we like have a family. Because when you have your first kid, you're like, whoa, we're parents. You know what I mean? But then when you have 2 kids, you like enter the realm of like, oh, this is like a family. Like we did a little photo shoot, like a newborn photo shoot, and then I like look at some of the pictures and I'm like, that's like a full Christmas card.
Yes, so that's where we've been the last month. Everything is going really good, but we just wanted to give you this update, tell you the story, have something for us to look back on. Thank you for all the support, and even just like going on Instagram and people saying, like DMing me, just checking in on you and stuff. It's very sweet. So thank you.
Very, very sweet of you guys.
Both our babies, I think, are still napping. So
yeah,
we're gonna go back to Yaya.
Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it.
Right, and
love y'all.
We'll see you very soon.
Peace out.
From Jess
and Gabriel
Conti.
and Micaiah and Cuba. Conti. You!